What is a goblin's favorite instrument? The organ. At least that's our goblin's favorite. Not only that, but they just love organs in general. Harvesting organs, selling organs, smelling organs, and yes, even installing organs. This is what happens when a colony of grimy, ugly, green little go-bussy lovers want nothing more than to be goblined at ass. This is the rise of the organ goblins. Not only are we lore-accurate cave-dwelling scavengers, these goblins can also use magic. That's right, bitches. Hide your kids, hide your wife. These magic goblins are harvesting all the organs out here. There's something. I did have some goals for this playthrough, which I never wrote down, and at this point have long forgotten about. So, I guess we'll be harvesting organs, fucking bitches, and getting money. Really though, what else could you ask for? Like Project 2025, this puppy's got it all. Alright, enough introduction. If you enjoy this video, help me out and press the like button. And drop your pronouns in the comments below. If you don't, I'm gonna assume your gender. Bubba, I'm gonna assume that gender so hard. So fucking hard. If you think you're gender confused now, well, boy girl, do I have a thing for you. And it's so hard. We begin by plunging into the massive cavern system that will be our home. Like today's youth, they prefer to remain indoors, inside of their moist, dark caverns. But unlike today's youth, they have strong immune systems, probably because kids don't touch dollar bills anymore. They're no longer exposed to cocaine and exotic dancer Yudi juice residue. Hear me out, alright? The combo of cocaine and Yudi juice is the apex of immune boosting technology. Damn cashless society taking away our snowy Yudi juice. Let kids suck on dollar bills for an hour. Boom. Cure COVID right there, brother. I mean, we may hide in caves and look like scared little pussies, but rest assured, Bubba, my gobbies ain't no fairy fat. Luckily, these caves do have some shitty soil, so we'll put down sleeping spots and begin our first grow zones. We'll be growing only mushrooms. It's a goblin's favorite snack, second only to man flesh.
Man flesh.
This mushroom makes wood, and this one makes food. And this one? Well, this little guy right here turns the frogs gay. We're gonna be growing a lot of this, cause I got a frog fetish. My fursona is Mr. Toad. Got that toady dump, boy. Crank till you croak, know what I'm saying? Ribbit for your pleasure. Hop on this dick. Use that tongue to, well, alright, I'm sorry. And it's a frog sona, not a fur sona. Living up to our way of life, we'll deconstruct much of the surrounding ruins as our goblins deconstruct their childhood trauma. That reminds me, I never introduced our team. First, we have Vernon River Reaper, the best man-flesh roaster in all the Rim. Next is Peanut Minty Breath, who ironically has breath that smells like bleach and salt. This one is Richard Cheese, but his friends call him Dick. He's one of our magical goblins that has taken on the class of Blade Dancer. Typical Twinkle Toes. Our other magic user is Frizz Perirald. Perirald? I don't know how to say that. It's foreign. I don't even care. Who's the tribe's shaman? And she's got a fat pooch covering that gobby cooch. Got a, cooch pooch for the go-boosy. Anyway, last up is Clursass Earbiter, our intellectual goblin. Much like her pooch, she's got a pooch of a brain. With that out of the way, we can now start mining out the caverns to make our home. Goblins, as we all know from established lore, are excellent diggers. Oh, sorry. I mean, they're excellent diggers. My bad, pimp. For research, we only start with stone cutting thanks to our ideology, so we jump into goblin basic gear. I mean, I don't mind seeing them walk around with their goblin gyats out, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to have some protection. Food is always a concern with new colonies, so fungal gravel is laid down to expand our mushroom production. And 2 of the animals we started with will be butchered before anyone can become attached to them. Unfortunately, one of them already caught feelings for Dick. Little guy must be from San Francisco. Peanut is sent on a hunting expedition and comes across the goblin's mortal enemies, emus. We all know birds aren't real, and the emu is just a mechanoid scyther in disguise. So naturally, Peanut takes his digipede homie's side and penetrates the emu with an arrow, and dinner can be served. Our cavern entrances are blocked off, continuing to scavenge the materials we need to fortify our goblin hold. One resource we'll be keeping an eye out for is unrefined magicite. It's used for all things magic, and just like my father's approval, is very fleeting. Probably why I'm a dirty little hoe. Aw, look at my gobbies. They're so damn cute. Most of them are bald because the mods don't like each other, so we'll just say they're all related to Sphinx cats. Kinda where the ears come from, you know? One big issue we'll have living in this cavern are the local insectoid populations. They have hives all over the map. But with our magic and our scavenging powers, we may just be alright. Place your bets now. Goblins or bugs? Well, with me controlling these goblins, probably the bugs. Because we live in the desert, wood is a hard resource to come by. and will remain scarce for quite a while. But at least our base is kind of set for the early game. We're at least able to get a research bench set up, and since we're basically still out of food, we continue hunting anything that is too much of a pussy to fight back. Is what I would say, but Peanuts turns around at the last minute to go to bed, so that's neat. Lucky for us, we had a visitor walk by and start attacking the bugs. Bug racism finally pays off, and we can sneak in there and go solid snake past the sleeping hive. Munching on little gobby scrimps tonight, boy, I tell you what. Goblin food critics give it a 6.9 out of 10. Only downside being that it was served sashimi style. Yeah, goblins really don't like Asian people. But that's a story for another time. Let's move on. We start gobmaxing hard as fuck by getting our shroom fields in. And those peaceful animals we were hunting decided to choose violence for once, showing that melee hunting may be a mistake. Just like giving women the right to vote. Not the best approach. Thank God for Peanut. I love Peanut. You can stick him anywhere, and he just performs, by gummit. With our food worries temporarily sated, we can begin setting up rooms for our gobbies. This place already looks like when someone takes a dump in a paper shredder, so we'll do what we can to spice it up a notch. We'll also get some glowy mushrooms to act as a light source. What don't they do? Well, except grow organs, cutting out the middleman. But then there'd be no violence. And we all do love violence. The time came to name ourselves. So let's welcome the Big Bone Clan, living in the settlement of the Smelly Bones kin. Best goblin random generated names there are, especially the Big Bone Clan, you know what I'm saying? And especially in relation to all the corpse disposal we'll be doing, which will be quite substantial, believe you me. Peanut ran into another bug hive and they all ran away from each other in a sort of Scooby-Doo moment. And a golden meteor fell from the sky, but I won't mind it. Ever. So, just forget about it. The only gold we seek is covered in blood and rended from the bodies of our enemies. We'll get a stonecutter bench down and some recreation. After all, they need something to save them from bullshit small talk of discussing the weather. The cavern we live in is about 99% condensed sand, so naturally we'll start making sand, so that we can build walls, that's right, out of sand. Hey, no one said goblins were good at building. That's why we live in pre-established caves. Caves of sand. Apparently. We complete the goblin basic gear research, and now have the technology of making crusty cum socks to bludgeon our enemies. Goblin spunk hardens more than diamonds. Skibbity riz no cap, fam. And we may as well get started early and research basic autopsy. It is the crux of this playthrough after all. Our first raid comes, crashing against our sandy walls, and instead of fighting the raiders, we take on a neighboring insect hive with spirit wolves. These wolves are actually ridiculously overpowered. None can stand against the tide of the bestest boys. None. We do locate the raiders. At least we locate their corpses at another insect hive. So raid successfully dealt with, and that leaves us plenty of bodies to carve up and eat. Wonderful. Thanks to all of their skin, we can make our first goblin armors. And our rooms are just about completed. Nice. Because we're constantly starving, more mushrooms are planted, and our wealth reaches a new high of 15,000 schmeckles. We now have the annual income of a middle-class American family. But our moods can't be higher. All goblins need is a hard, moist hole and some man flesh, and they'll be through the moon. Some spacecraft chunks fall from the heavens, giving us our first glimpse at real technology. I know you nerds want to see some techno-goblins. Hell, I do too. All the dudes and chicks want to see it. Even the Hermes. Yeah, shout out to all my hermaphrodite homies. One love, 2 parts. We then begin taming a jelly pot. These little guys produce insect jelly, which is a staple of goblin medicine production, which we'll need to harvest infinite amounts of organs. Our natural enemy rears its ugly head once more, and we plunge Dick straight into the vile emu scum. It's an emu, just don't look too closely at it. Keep this up and the emus will soon be a minority. Ah, a minority. Stop resisting. Dick took a real pounding there, but I think he's gonna pull through. Basic autopsy research is done, and we now go into goblin construction. The autopsy table needs 120 steel, which is a little out of our price range at the moment, and putting on hats makes Dick's pubes go away. If only it were that easy. I can't tell you how many times I've nicked my little Richard cheese with the scissors, or a razor, or my boyfriend's teeth. I said too much. Anyway, we do have plenty of steel on the map, so we'll just begin strip mining operations. Gotta say, I really love the new mine vein mechanic that Rimworld has now. It's the dopest dope. You've probably noticed, but I'm using the Fog of War mod. I don't know if I like it. I mean, it's cool and all, but it's basically just a minor inconvenience, so I don't know. Maybe a different scenario it'd work better, but it's fun to try new things. like anal. Since we're about to have more steel than Portland has fent heads, we begin digging out a new room, a fun room, a pleasure room, a room that will contain 50 shades of organs. We then get a quest from an aptly named Brown Empire to save a noble. I decided that since goblins are sneaky little fuckers, we would help him and then betray him. It's their fault for trusting goblins. I mean, people are goblin racists for a reason. This dude's about to be sweating like a Catholic priest meeting an imam's wife. And just like a Mormon, you'll need to let that one soak. You'll get it eventually. It's a twofer. The guinea pig raid is promptly dealt with, thus saving the noble, and then our new pleasure room accepts its first guest, which just so happens to be that very same noble. So naturally, we load him up with an exuberant amount of surgeries. This is how we have to do it until the autopsy table is ready. But we'll just call it practice for our goblin doctor. What could go wrong? That's right, something. I'ma eat your asshole alive, you bitch. What? Our first harvest was a success, and we get a very noble leg, the first of many. Unfortunately, it's not a chicken leg, and we can't eat it, because we're out of food again. So the goblin squad rallies up to conquer another insect hive for their luscious jellies. I may have bitten off a little more than I could chew, and we promptly retreat, saved only by our overpowered bestest boy squad. Definitely deserving of a few good snoot boopings. They gobble up the bugs faster than a cheap whore gobbling up these nuts. Okay, Dick's pooch is now dead. Going back to harvest the bug corpses, we find out that not every bug was killed, and on the third attempt we managed to destroy the hive. We're battered, bloody, and bruised, like a good housewife. But damn it, we're victorious. My dick is infected, but we caught it early enough so the little guy should pull through. And Frizz fails a surgery, but it's no bother. There's plenty more where that came from. We can now lay down some goblin floors in our rooms, and Frizz fails another surgery. I can't understand why a surgery on the ground with light from a mushroom keeps failing, but hey, I'm a retard, not a doctor. We harvest the last 3 trees on the map, and my dick is all better now. Just in time for us to set up a pen area and move in our new jelly pot friend. Infinite insect jelly hack acquired, which is one key component for our organ trail dreams. Our mushroom research finishes, so we'll research more mushrooms, then make more land available to grow said mushrooms. The noble we're hacking parts off of, rather, failing to hack parts off of, goes berserk and gets slammed by my dick. Hard to say why he went berserk. Unfortunately, we may never know. Then the West Quo Kin League decided to prepare for a while before they attack, leaving me plenty of time to cut up our noble friend, work on our bedrooms, and harvest our mushrooms. They finally press the attack and we get our first taste of firearms. Naturally, our best boy brigade stomps on their balls and we now have guns. Goblin guns, bitch. So that's pretty metal. And there was a pig in a maid dress? What fucked up anime did this thing spawn from? Oh well. Just means more bacon for us. We'll also steal their clothes. Now we can't see their bangin' rock hard bods though. Like the opposite of an OnlyFans girl. Though an OnlyFans girl does look like a goblin without makeup and filters. So I guess they're not, too far removed from one another. Putting these whores on notice. Bitches looking like Zimbabwe accurate goblins. No wonder their bathwater gives people herpes. Oh yeah, bitch. SMG hunting. Now that's goblin-erific. Goblin-tastic. Goblin these nuts. Our food is looking good once more, thanks to our cat-poppin' homie over here. You know he's holding it sideways, because that's a kill shot, bubba. We then get another raid, this time from some anteater role players. Must have skipped Moil Day. But we have enough time to fail a surgery, finish our fun dungeon table, and pluck our homeboy's eyes. Raiders are just so considerate these days. So the raiders attack us. Of course we started blasting, and I learned that the shaman's chain lightning spell doesn't discriminate as we get blasted by our own lightning. That's the most anti-racist thing I've ever seen. Amazing. But we can try out our autopsy table, meow, with our lucky winner, right next to the dude with no eyeball. Give him a glimpse of his future, just one glimpse. And there's no organs. Maybe we're just unlucky. We then researched drug production because you need medicine to harvest corpses. Why? Fuck, I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. Should just need a sharp rock and vile intent. But no matter, we'll try again to receive yet more no organs. I ended up changing the mod settings a little bit. I did it a few times actually to try and key it in and try to balance it. After a few tries, we got it dialed in pretty good, so don't worry, my lovelies. Papa's got you. Now, part of our ideology is having 3 leaders. This confused my Down syndrome have-an-ass brain, and we make Dick the war chief, Frizz the shaman, Peanuts the meat chief, giggity, Vernon the war chief, Dick the grand chief, except it reset to war chief and I didn't notice, then Vernon the grand chief. The only person who got the correct role I planned from was Riz the shaman. Frizz Frizz the Shaman, who coincidentally actually has some pretty good riz, but you'll have to wait and see what I mean. But everyone is now starving and pissed off. So you know what? Good enough. This is my fault for making too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Feather, not dot. Now that bullshit's done with, I killed the noble and tried to harvest his organs, only to not get any organs yet again. This is when I fucked with the settings, but at least we get more tasty human scrimps to suckle upon, so that's something, I guess. And now we got goblins strutting around the cavern hole in nobility robes. Vernon's wearing a skirt, for crying out loud. What an exquisite taste these high-class gobbies got. Organ goblins are nothing if not fashionable. We'll now grow some timber caps to begin wood production, and we get another harvest. Our food supply is finally at least somewhat balanced out. Mushrooms and human meat. A well-balanced diet. Even moms who choose Jif would support. We get drug production and will now finally learn how to make beds so we don't sleep on the ground anymore. Who knew that putting on pants would make these goblins civilized and desire creature comforts? Like not sleeping on sand. Gotta keep that goblin gyat comfy after all. Now if you look closely you will see our natural enemy eating our recently planted wood supply. Must be communist bullshit. Communist ass emu not emus over here pissing me off. I'ma fuck you till you love me, fact. There, I think he loves me now. Stupid bastard. We'll have a fair of blood because it sounds cool, and it wound up being unforgettable. Wow. So that rock's pretty fucking hard. We'll then go into smithing. We have a lot of research to do, seeing as how we started with nothing. But don't you worry, our gobby goyams will be shamming it up with the most advanced of them in no time. And due to the communist emus eating our resources, we'll move to secure our cave a little bit better. Now then, boys, I did mean for this organ goblin video to be just one long video containing the entire adventure of our Gucci Poochie goblin family, but because of numerous things happening, I'm now about 3 weeks behind schedule. So we're making this a series. I've already recorded everything, but it would just take way too fucking long to edit together, and I'm going camping soon. So there will be more hot single goblins in your area to come. I just wish series did better on YouTube's communist ass platform, but that's out of my hands. Help an old pop out by leaving a like and a comment on this dumpster fire of a video. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to the members of the Cheesemonger Society, whose organs I'd like to carve out in the dark sandy room. I'll catch you cats on the flippity flop, and as always, I love you, bye. Love your scrumptious bulbous little organs, that is.
Can't you see I'm blazing? Still my heart is blazing. If the words kill me, I don't need a new